Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Gruver and Terrie Huberman.
Well, hello there. I'm Terrie Huberman, and welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast.
And I'm your co-host, Kathy Gruver, and we are excited to be back with another episode for you. We've got a great show for you, but first we're going to start with an angel card, as we always do, and today's angel card is commitment.
Ooh.
Honor your words.
Oh,
Stay
yeah.
steadfast on your path. Remain dependable and engaged amidst the flux of life, choices, and activities. I love that. I'm a big commitment person. Like
Yeah.
if I say I'm going to do it, you know I'm going to do it. If I say 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. If it's going to
Same.
be 9:02, I will text you and go, oh my God, it's going to be 9:02.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, this is why we work so well together. So we are going to dive into something that's going to make the woo meter go up a little bit. We're going to talk about past lives today and
Yes,
reincarnation.
yes.
And this is an incredibly popular topic, especially probably in the last 10 or 15 years when there's been a lot of kids that have
Sure.
come forward and a lot of, I'm going to put evidence in quotes
Sure.
because it's, small children being like, I was a pilot in World War II and that's my sister and her nickname's this. There's been a lot of anecdotal evidence that this is totally a real thing. I have believed this is totally a real thing since I was a kid, much to my Catholic mother's dismay, because not a lot of reincarnation talk, except for Jesus, in Catholicism. I fully believe it's a thing. I could get more into detail about how I believe it's a thing, but Terrie, I'm also assuming you believe it's a thing, but maybe
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah, I do. And actually, in Judaism, they do believe in reincarnation, and they call them gilguls. So a gilgul is a reincarnation of someone. So that's I'm glad to be Jewish because it very much like, with my train of thinking and the woo meter and all of that is very high with Judaism. So I'm happy about that.
I think you're the only Jewish friend I have that's ever said it like that. I'm so happy to be Jewish.
I am actually.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
I'll give you my theory on this. So I like to look at it sort of as community theater, right? Like summer stock theater. So you come together with a group of people, you put on a play. It's a great play. The summer ends, you all scatter your different directions. This is that in between place after death, right? You sit down over the summer and you're like, hey, what shows are we going to do? Who's going to do what? Oh, this time you could be the star and I'll do lighting because there's really no role for me. And then you come back together again and you do a whole different play with different characters and different roles, but you all know each other. I think we sort of travel in the same soul family.
Yes.
But there's literally been times where I'm driving on the freeway and I make eye contact with the guy in the car next to me. And I know I'm never going to see this human again, but there's this deep understanding of, yep, we're stuck on the 405 together. He played sort of an extra role in my life this time. He could be my husband 2 lifetimes from now.
Right.
So to me, of the 3 choices of you die and nothing happens, you just go back to dirt. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic, more Western religion of you die and there's this heaven or hell thing, that makes no sense to me. The keep trying until you get it right. You go, you review your life, you come back and do it again. That just makes, just deep inside me, that makes so much more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that more chaos people would be like, well, you're just trying to make order out of chaos. And, that just makes you feel good about things. And they believe that you die and you're just a pile again and you go back to the earth. Then my question is, well, then what's the point?
Right.
And they say, there is no point. And I'm like, well, then that doesn't work for me. Why? Because I said so. It's kind of that feeling to me. So I absolutely believe in reincarnation. I've seen evidence of it many, many times in my own life. I do past life regression as a hypnotherapist. I've had clients make incredible breakthroughs, but also, frankly, let's say it's not true. Let's say it's all bullshit. If I hypnotize you to go back to a lifetime and you tell me that you're a Russian princess in the 1400s, and that solves your problem, your anxiety goes down, you have a better relationship with your father, you strengthen your relationship with your kids, I don't give a shit what story you had to make up to make that happen, right?
Agreed.
I've had people say, well, I don't believe it. I don't care. Great.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I believe it. It works into my system of living and thought process. But I don't care if you believe it or not. I can still get the work done.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've had a couple of past life regressions done to me, and it was very interesting to see how these particular lives coincided. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah.
Might be coincided or was so similar to the characters in this lifetime. And if we're talking about soul evolution, right, then we are talking about how does that soul evolve? And the soul evolves by using a human container, right? Because something that has mass or matter is what gives that soul the vehicle to go ahead and evolve and shift and change and learn. So the only way you can learn is if you come back and are put in the same situation, just like in our normal, regular human life now, there will be times where you're like, okay, I'm in this situation again. Let's make something really easy. I'm on a job interview. I've been on many other job interviews. The past job interviews for this particular role, I didn't smile. I didn't pass the test. I wasn't friendly. Okay, I know that now on this job interview, these are the things that I have to do, and then I get the job.
Yep. Oh, I love that analogy.
It's just, I want to make it tangible, right?
Right. Like, well, and I'm going to do that too. So my ex wanted to negate everything I said about everything. Now, on one hand, that was kind of good because it made me really kind of clarify what I believed and fight for what I believed and find words for a lot of things I believed. His big thing was, well, then why? Because I believe we pick our lifetimes. I believe we pick our families. I believe we pick our situations, our contracts. We'll talk about that at another time. And he said, why would anybody pick a shitty life? And I said, when I was a senior in high school, I knew I was going to be a theater major. The second I could stop taking math, I stopped taking math. Hated it. The second I could stop taking science, I stopped. So my senior year of high school, I was in French, Spanish, drama, debate, English. Like it was these fun, easy courses, right? And I remember going to my locker and getting my play, which I had to take my next class. And there was a gal named Kelly McTaggart. Big shout out to Kelly McTaggart. She's one of the smartest people in my school. She might have been one of our valedictorians. She's walking down the hall and she's got trig and calc and AP. I mean, she's got a stack of books. And I remember thinking, Jesus, why would you want to take all those class? That sucks. Well, she has like 2 freaking degrees. She's a high-powered attorney in DC. She knew she needed those hard courses for her next thing.
Sure.
So I believe just like that, there are people that pick harder lives. Maybe it's poverty. Maybe it's a medical issue. Maybe it's dying young. Maybe it's living old. But I believe we pick those things because that's what our soul knows we need for our next college, our next thing, right? I wouldn't have picked those things because I didn't need them. If I needed them, I would have picked them.
Right.
So that to me explains but some people have a hard life. Nobody would pick that. Sure they would, because in their wisdom, in that in-between place where we are pure essence and pure love and pure wisdom, we know what we need to learn to move forward. Sometimes we break that contract and we're like, no, I'm going to sit here on the couch with my hand in my pants. Well, guess what? Next time, they're not like, okay, you didn't check it off, man. You failed that course. You got to come back and do it again. And it's probably going to be harder.
A lot of times, so people who have had NDEs, they go through that life review process, right? And so that life review, by the way, the movie Defending Your Life is probably like one of the best movies. Yeah, it's one of the best movies you could watch.
Fucking Meryl Streep, man.
Yeah, and to understand the sort of beginnings of the afterlife and all of that.
I think it's 100% accurate.
So I do too. There's something called resonation, and it is what it is. Debate it all you want, people. But that's why a lot of times people are like, I feel so connected to this because it resonates energetically, right?
Yes.
And everything's made from energy. But in these near-death experiences, did I say that right? In my head, it's not coming out right. Okay.
Near-death experiences.
Wah! Okay. Uh, um, there's that life review, and in that life review is a lot of times where the soul goes, okay, this is what I need to take for my next lifetime. So, and I don't, based on the experiences that I've had as a medium, there's no there's no time span as to when you get reincarnated. Because I've had quick reincarnations and I've had not quick reincarnations. And when I say that, I don't mean me, I mean the spirits that I've talked to. One time I was reading for a family and there was a new baby in the family that was from everything that we talked about. Of course, there's no way to prove this. I really wish science can prove this. They will soon, I'm sure. That the baby was actually a reincarnation of the grandfather, which was so cool. That was so cool. And they were happy. And I don't know anything. So I'm just giving the information that I get. And it was like really lovely. And so that was a really nice experience. Yeah.
I think that's pretty common. You know, I really do. One of the reasons that I very strongly believe that these are true things. So my dream when I was younger, I so wanted to go to Avalon. Mists of Avalon was one of my favorite books. I thought, oh my God, surrounded by powerful, awakened women. We're doing our healing work. We're doing our magic. Once a month, hot men show up and they pleasure us, then they leave.
That sounds perfect.
I mean, doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a past life regression with a guy who regresses me. And I head to what seemingly was Avalon. And I'm like, oh my God, my dream pen fell on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, my dream lifetime. I've always wanted it. Oh, yay. It was the shittiest lifetime. Nobody liked me. I got undermined at every pass. If something good, like if I was selected to carry the fire, everybody hated me. I had no support there. I finally left the island and went to be a healer in the small village where I helped people with the bubonic plague. And then I died this horrible death because I contracted it. I mean, it was a shit lifetime. And I was like, yay. And my friends were like, why yay? And I said, because this means to me that this is real. Because if I was making it up, it would have been this perfect lifetime, right? This idealistic. What's that other word? Idyllic. Thank you. I was like, bucolic. No, that's not the right word. Idyllic lifetime. And it wasn't. It was crap. I've had some really crappy lifetimes where I was this, and I'm going to say a word we're not allowed to say anymore, but this was what she was a retarded girl. Even the dog was a little slow. I died in a bog. I drowned face down in a bog because the villagers, it's a long story. But anyway, it's like, I feel, I was never Cleopatra. I wasn't Mary Queen of Scots. I wasn't, these famous people, because not everybody can be Cleopatra. But I would have made up something so completely different if I was making this up.
Well, a lot of times, and I don't know if you've had this experience, tell me if you have, where you've gone to a location and all of a sudden you either know everything about it or you're having some sort of visceral response, or you go on vacation and you loathe the place or you love the place.
Yep.
Right?
That's one of the ways that, so I way back studied with Roger Woolger in college. He was the youngest person there. I was the only non-psychologist. I'm like this theater major, and I wanted to go to this workshop, right? And he would actually start people by saying, write down the 3 places that you are absolutely the most drawn to, and write down the 3 places that repel you.
Yeah.
Right. And he said 9 times out of 10, one of those 6 places are all places you've had lifetimes. I was obsessed with Egypt as a kid. I was obsessed with Rome and Greece as a kid. I was obsessed with, like all these places, and I've been able to go to all of them. I sat at Glastonbury and I was in a little bed and breakfast, and I took a sip of the apple juice and I set the cup down and I went, oh, I remember that. And from the other room, the woman who owned the bed and breakfast went, I figured that's why you were here.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I was in Rome, it's still a walled city. And most people don't know that Rome is actually still walled. And I spent all my time in the walled city. And at one point, I wanted to go to one of the baths outside the city. So I hopped in a taxi. And as I went through the gates of the city, I started to have a panic attack. Ooh. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be out here. Like, I'm not supposed to be outside these walls. This is really freaking me out. And we get to the bath and he drops me off. And I'm like, this is weird. I feel comfortable here, but I'm not in the walls of the city.
Yeah.
Well, I did a regression on that. And I, at one point, was a Vestal Virgin. Wow. And the Vestal Virgins never left the city, except one time a year. They were taken through the gates to that one bath for a celebration.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. So there's also been so many times I've sort of been able to corroborate things that I'm feeling and things that I know. I love past life regression so much. I spend so much of my time thinking about that and reviewing that and recognizing people. Like, I can now go, oh, I know you. And I can kind of know where and when I know them from. So because I've done literally since I was a kid work on this.
I had a past life in Rome. I wonder if that's how we knew each other.
It could be. I was
married to my sister. I was actually a man, and I was married to her, and I cheated on her terribly. I was awful. I was awful.
And we all were.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I had a lifetime where I killed somebody. Yes, I can guess you did. Yeah, you probably, or you cheated, or you were a bat in war. Or, but it's like, it's been a very interesting way to clarify relationships.
Sure.
So I would go back and do past life regression to see how I knew partners. And it would almost 100% of the time explain a dynamic I had with that person.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a couple ways to go back. You can go back to a space, take me to the last time I was in Rome. You could go take me to the last time I knew Terrie. You could do, let me see the lifetime in which it's most important for me to know right now. You could go to skills. So like I did one where I went back to the last time I was a teacher. That was a fascinating lifetime. To me, it's 100% real. And again, if you don't believe it, that's totally great.
It's fine.
The work can still be done on that, actually. Sure. So, yeah.
Well,
that's all I got to say about that.
This was a fun episode.
It was a fun episode. I love it. Okay. If you want to do past life regression, I can do it on Zoom. I prefer to do it in person, but I'm Kathy Gruver. I can be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Terrie Huberman. You can catch me on terriehuberman.com. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast. We'll see you in the next podcast.